Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Side by Side, where we go to restaurants in the same vicinity that serve the same food, and we let you know which one reigns supreme. Today, we're in one of my favorite sections of New York City. We're in downtown Flushing, and we're going to try two wontons at two separate restaurants that are just blocks apart from each other. Maxi's Noodle and White Bear. First up today is going to be White Bear. What we're known for is the number 6, which is the spicy chili wonton. Now, though they have a number of other items on their menu, that's really the one that people travel from all over New York City to come and try these wontons here in Flushing. Now, White Bear, it's takeout only. So, where I normally say, let's go inside, check it out, and see what they're all about. Let's go grab that number 6 and see what it's all about. When you grab this, first of all, what you're gonna notice, this looks damn tasty. What's on it? They have preserved vegetables. They have scones. They also have their chili sauce. Looks like there's little tiny burnt chili flakes on there. As somebody that loves spicy food, I can tell you, I'm really excited to see my teeth into these bad boys. Ooh, when I just stuck the fork inside the wonton, there was like a crispiness from that burnt chili. Here we go. That inside filling, it's going to be pork, but also going to have, looks like some scallions in there as well. So you have this texture of salty pork that's going on, that was tender. Also the very chewy outside wrap, which was also a nice texture that added to it. But with the spiciness, you have delicious spicy chili on top of it. You have tender meat that has a hint of saltiness. And then this chili sauce, it's fire. It's amazing, I love it. Just an abundance of flavor going on everywhere. That is one of the tastiest wontons I've ever had in my entire life. My goodness, this is going to be a fire episode today because we're going to 2 quality wonton places, and this one, first one, was already amazing. Now, what made it so great? I love the crispiness of those burnt pepper flakes that are on, or the burnt chili that's on top of the wonton. I feel like a lot of times when you get a wonton, it might be a little bit more on the blander side. That wasn't the case with this bad boy. There's a hint of saltiness on there as well. So you have this nice hot spice crispiness texture while you're chewing in, while you're biting into it, with the hint of saltiness. There's a lot of hype in New York City about the wontons at White Bear. People travel all the way from Manhattan. People travel from Brooklyn, all over the place to get the wontons at White Bear, and I mean, I understand why. Really good. My goodness. Cheers. Our next stop here in Flushing is going to be Maxi's Noodle. Now, for those of you who are wondering why we're coming to a noodle shop for a wonton side by side, if you can read Chinese, you'll notice behind me it says Wonton Girl. Now, the reason for that is where Maxi trained at in Canada to make wontons, it was called Wonton Boy. Now, in order to pay homage to that restaurant, she actually decided to name her place Wonton Girl. But over some naming of the places, they were thinking that maybe they'd want to keep that name for the daughter. So, even though it's in Chinese it says Wonton Girl, she decided to change the English name of the restaurant to Maxi's Noodle. Depending on where you get your wontons in China, there's a number of different wontons that you can get. There's the ones that just have a large wrapper with just a dab of filling in it. It's going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be a large jumbo size wonton that you're having here. Going to be mostly shrimp with a hint of pork in there. I'm really excited because being an American, I like it big, especially here in New York City. You saw the cheesecake episodes. You've seen the pizza episodes. We love it big over here. Let's go inside, have one of these jumbo-sized wontons, and see how it is. So, first impression. One of the things you're going to be noticing first when you come in here, and I usually talk about the environment, the aromas. The aroma is fantastic. Already getting the scent of the soup that they serve with the wontons, which we did order a wonton soup, one with noodle and then one without. But I will say, they have a neon light here. It's not turned on, but I love the punniness. It says, "You got me wonton more," which I did think was pretty damn funny, but they're definitely capturing the essence of Maxi's from Hong Kong. Kind of Hong Kong feel in here. The core is great, but the aroma, that's really what sticks out. They were not kidding about having jumbo size wontons. This almost looks like a big giant Italian meatball. Whew. That's really what's sticking out. The aroma, you can definitely smell the shrimp. Smells fresh, like the sea. That is hot. I just burned my mouth. The broth tastes a little bit salty. Kind of has the shrimp taste to it. A hint of meat as well. But the dominating flavor in that broth is definitely the shrimp. Let's see how this massive wonton tastes as well. That's a fantastic wonton. Delicious, nice tender shrimp meat. Apparently there's some pork in here. Couldn't really taste too much pork, but the shrimp was soft. It was tender. Big, massive chunks in it as well. You can take a look at that. Now the ratio they said is about 90% shrimp, 10% pork. This is all shrimp. It's so fantastic. Let me get a little bit of dip in there, and also there wasn't too much wrap. Sometimes when you take a bite into a wonton, you're just having a ton of skin that you're sinking your teeth into. Very thin wrap, a ton of meat. It's almost like, as I said, I pulled it up. Like, this looks like a Chinatown meatball. This is like a massive wonton shrimp ball, and I personally love it. Costs about $10 to $11 when you do come in here, but without the noodle, well worth it. Next up is the 2-topping soup with noodle. The noodle that we got is a flat rice noodle, and we got the wonton because that's what they're known for, but we also got the beef stew as well. And there's the beef. When you come to Maxi's, generosity. That's what they focus on. You take a look at the big chunks of beef, the massive wontons. There's no shortage of anything in here. Here we go. Cheers. This is what the director ordered. She got the best of both worlds. She got the massive wonton, which they are known for, with the thick chunks of shrimp in it. And then that beef, it was juicy, it was tender. My teeth just sunk right through it. A little bit chewy in the end because it also had a little bit of tendon in there. But the beef as a whole had a nice saltiness to it as well. Overall, this beef broth with the noodle and the wonton is fantastic. I kind of wish that I would have ordered this as well. That way I could have the mixture of both. We really wanted to capture the essence of the wontons though, because that's what we were doing with the side-by-side today was the first the wonton. But overall, the stew is about $2 more when you come here. I wouldn't sleep on this because you're going to get the wonton, which you are looking for. But then the stew also adds that nice tender beef to the order as well. Definitely tremendous value and a home run being in Flushing, right by the Mets. Heck yeah. And if you're on the run and you don't have time to sit down and eat, but you still want to capture their delicious food that they do have here, you get some frozen wontons to go, which might be something that we're getting on the way out of here. Okay, so very special. I have to say, the hype is real. We are with the queen of the jumbo wonton, Maxi. Maxi, here in Flushing, a lot of competition. There's a lot of great restaurants. I love this place. This was the first time I went here, but for people who are deciding where they want to go in Flushing, why should they come to Maxi's?
So of course they come for the supersized wonton, right?
Okay.
Everything here is pretty much supersized. So we're a noodle shop, and we only do noodles, specialized in noodles. So we, we're a little different than our competitors, whereas they do like congee, rice dishes, a lot of stir fry, like a big menu. Where here we only focus on like the 6 toppings and only noodles.
Okay. And that was one of the things that I did say. I was like, there is no shortness of abundance, right? You have a ton of flavor in your stuff. You give a ton of ingredients. That we had the beef stew also, and there's a lot of beef in there. How come you decided to go jumbo size as opposed to, traditionally when you go to the other places, smaller wontons? Why'd you decide to go big?
So we want to be different. We don't in New York. I think I'm pretty much like the first place where we have like double-sized wonton. We want to be unique, right? Where we don't. I don't like to say that I'm traditional or authentic. Listen, the food is good. People will come. That's all that matters, right? I feel like anybody can make wontons, right? Everybody make a different type of wontons, but my wontons are a little unique because of the size. The inside is mainly packed with shrimp and a little bit of pork, whereas different Asian Chinese culture, they make different type of wontons where there's a lot of meat versus seafood, or some have different types, maybe just veggies or chicken. Everybody does a little different. But I feel like, our wontons are a little special because, mainly because of the size. And it is because we are, like a Hong Kong style noodle shop and only serve noodles. And, we don't really have other competitors like that in New York. But I can say that we're like the first one who have the supersized wonton here in this, in this state.
Nice. Lastly, is there a reason why you decided to choose this location in Flushing? Are you like from the neighborhood? Are you from Queens? Like, how come you chose to be place to shop in here, especially around where there's so much other competition?
So that's I'm actually not from Queens. I'm actually born and raised in Hong Kong. I moved here when I was 9. Actually, I live in Long Island, but Flushing, it's like the closest Chinatown to Long Island. So growing up here, me and my family, we come to Queens pretty much like every weekend. Sometimes, like during the summertime, when I was, young, we would come out here, throughout the week for dinner, for doctor's appointments, for haircuts, for everything. So Flushing is kind of like home also to me, just because like, my family do everything here, food shopping and everything. And just the community in Queens is just, it's awesome. So just being here, being able to open a business in this community, it's unbelievable.
Awesome. Yep, the queen of the jumbo-sized wonton here in Queens. Everything makes sense. No shortness of food. She packs in a ton of stuff. I love it. If you find yourself in the area, stop into Maxi's.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well, folks, that concludes our day here in Flushing, Queens, and the wontons here were fantastic. First, White Bear. I gotta say, I loved the chili flakes. I love the chili oil. I love those vegetables that were on top. But what makes you wonder, after having Maxi's, when I've been to Maxi's, I could really taste the flavor of the wonton, the thick shrimp that was in there, just the nice tenderness of it. I did notice after having that the flavor of the wonton didn't really stick out too much of me at White Bear as I was hoping for. So when it does come to who won this side by side, I gotta go with Maxi's because my goodness, the big massive jumbo wonton was just like a meatball of goodness. Even though it wasn't a meatball, a shrimp ball of goodness. It reminded me when you go to dim sum, you get a shrimp roll and you just eat the shrimp and it's just packed with shrimp. That's what it was. It was great. I loved Maxi's, and on top of that, she was able to bless us with a tremendous interview. It was great meeting you, Maxi. We love going to your restaurant. And on top of that, at Maxi's, everything was great. It wasn't just about the wonton. It was about the noodle that we had, the delicious beef stew with the tender beefness. I mean, everything that she had to offer just seemed to be great. She was on top of it over there, and great job. 2 thumbs up for you, Maxi, as you won this episode of Side by Side. And from everyone over here at A Piece of New York, we just want to say thank you for the views. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, give us a subscribe. And we hope you have a great day and a better week. Take it easy, y'all. Bye-bye.